And then he had a thing called registered mail UCC1, which I presume is that when we go to the county recorders and we
stop right there, Tom.
Okay.
Okay. You're guessing again.
I'm guessing again, trying to figure out what it is.
Okay. This is Patrick. I'm on the line now. Okay. I gave Tom several documents this week. One was a disclosure by the court. Most of the words about disclosure, there's very little in the American law dictionaries about disclosure out here. Almost all the definitions I got were out of Oxford Law Dictionary. You need to understand that basically you need to demand disclosure from the other party. Okay? They have things hidden from us. You have to demand the disclosure. Like a bank. When you open up a bank account, they turn around and they write a UCC against that account. They take your name and turn that name by identity theft into a debtor. You sign it up as a creditor. You're making a deposit. But they turn around and make a UCC contract as a consignor, consignee. Okay? So like also the court does with Bailey, Baylor. The state does with the driver's license. Licensee, licensor. They make the licensor or the bailor or the consignor the debtor in the process. You were the original grantor to the item, but they turned that fictional person into the debtor under normally a 9-digit account number. Okay. Now, the other document that I had Tom post up, and I put that out today, was basically the difference between the secret non-disclosure of the hidden American insurrection UCC liens for the unjust corporate profits done by hidden recordings, American identity theft, and corporate tax concealments and evasions. Okay? The corporate world, we think, is operating in a 9-digit numbering system. It's really an 11-digit numbering system. Why 11 digits? Well, you have to go back to the Bible. The number of man is 12. Child of man is 11. That's what the devil creates, is a fictional child. One less than man. And that's in the Bible. Doesn't call out the number 11, but you always talk about one less in the terminology. The number of man is 12. But there's a key symbology here in America. The Great Seal that is out here for the Constitution or of the country is 13 stars, 13 arrows, and 13 olive leaves. 3 13s. The number of a man that is of age and has his full wits about him, or his knowledge, his spirit, his God, whatever, is 13. 13 is unlucky to the corporation world because that's now a man that stands in full power of his understanding. How do we get a 13-digit number? if all like the EINs, our driver's license and everything are 9 digits, how do we even get an 11-digit number? Well, it's if you look at the UCC, when you fill out the UCC with your state, it's got 2 digits. Okay, if you fill in the automatic fill-in, it won't allow you to type in the full state name. Then you type in your zip code, your 9-digit zip code. Then the country, and the country is U.S. So you add that all up. IA, the 9 digits, and then U.S. Now that's your 13-digit for your United States Post Office number. So that's a 13-digit number. But in their corporate world, most people only fill out the state and the zip code. That's an 11-digit number. So that puts you into the corporate world, not into the 13-digit world. Registered mail label has 2 digits or 2 letters, then 9 digits, then 2 more, with U.S. normally always on the end. Same thing for an express mail label. So that's a 13-digit filing. Okay, registered mail. There's another one out here, and basically for people that got their foreign grantor trust EIN, you could only get that from one place in this country. And in most cases, you had to call up on the phone to get it. You had to show that you were living. And that is your foreign grantor trust EIN. Okay? We know that all EINs, and basically like the driver's license, that all EINs basically are 9 digits, and then you add a U.S. behind them because where they are. They're operating with the corporate United States. So it's the 9-digit EIN number plus U.S., so it's 11 digits. But that foreign grantor trust, your exemption EIN number or immunity EIN number for your international organization, it would be PA 9-digit EIN number and then U.S. Now, like I said, we've got 3 13s on the Great Seal. We need to have 3 13s also when we stand with our total authority. We know that one of them is going to be the post office now. We've got our foreign grantor trust or international organization exemption number as a 13-digit number. And then basically we do a registered mail. So the foreign grantor trust EIN is the 13 stars. The post is basically the 13 olive leaves. The express mail or registered mail label is going to be the 13 arrows. Because what do you do with an arrow? You send it through the air. Now, this is my interpretation. Whether you guys want to believe it or not, basically that's up to you. But basically, I know that you understanding that corporate seal of the United States of America with the 13 is very powerful when you come in and stand over these 13 or 11-digit corporations. And then when you have full disclosure, basically you get in there and you understand where they're hiding the UCCs. Okay, they're corporate UCCs, like the certificate of live birth account. In most cases, it's all 11 digits out there for most people in most of the states. Okay, some of the states bulked at that, but basically That's their problem. You'll have to figure out how to get the 11-digit number out of a deal. The marriage license, okay? Certificate of live birth, marriage certificate, and death certificate. They're all basically processed through the Bureau of Vital Records. Therefore, the UCC lien, United States citizenship lien, is probably more than likely going to be in the Bureau of Vital Records also. Any church that is a 501 church, they have a corporate EIN. They also write UCC liens against their memberships. Again, you've got a ship, a membership. These churches basically are deceivers also, okay? They're out there operating for profit. Otherwise, they wouldn't be registered as a 501 church because they'd be out of the system. So they're operating in a corporation structure. The state of corporate UCCs are hidden normally in their departments where the license or where the certificate originated from. Driver's license, normally in the Department of Transportation. Certificate of title to the vehicle, Department of Transportation. Certificate of title to the land. I think it's in the Department of Agriculture. But basically, I don't have a land certificate, so I don't know. You'd have to look and see where yours came from. Voter registration, basically, I would say it would be with the Secretary of State, but there again, I think that if it's in the state, it could also be in the state banking records. Normally, every state has a banking division or their insurance division. So that could be where the UCCs are filed. The United States Corporation, they hide them like Social Security account. They see as more than likely in the United States Department of the Treasury, because the Treasury Department of the Treasury is the go-between or the intermediary for all of these Social Security and EIN accounts, the IRS. The military basically is through the Department of Defense. The United States passport account through the Department of State. The United States Corporate Department of State. That's why Hillary wanted to be the Secretary of State, so that she could basically control and basically siphon off assets out of those United States passport accounts. You have to look at why these people get into some of these offices that they're in. You go into court. Basically, they write a traffic ticket on you. Here in the state of Iowa, they put a bailment out there or a appearance bond on the traffic ticket. Normally more than the traffic ticket itself is worth. That is the bailment that's going into that court action. Then basically the court, the judge, the prosecutor, the clerk of the court, the bailee, the person that's coming in to witness against you, the recorder, all those people in the court, they're going to get a kickback out of that bailment. Do they have an interest in the process? Wow. Hell yes. And basically that is by their non-disclosure, okay, they're committing basically a violation of their duty of disclosing their interest in the process. They can't judge that action. Even in a mortgage case, the court ends up putting a lien in there, and they're getting a kickback. Now, they don't get the kickback right away. Normally, it goes into their public employees' retirement system, their PERS. Here in Iowa, it's called IPERS, IPERS. Same thing with the county commissioners. They've got their voting on tax increases for the county. If they're getting a kickback into the public employees' retirement system down the road, that is basically they're not disclosing the interest that they have. They can't vote on that item. If they do, it's a breach of duty and it's a criminal offense. This is why most all this disclosure was never in the American law dictionaries. But when you look at these definitions here, okay, then you can start seeing how the process that we have not been going into court and not asking for proper disclosure. You don't need to go to the Secretary of State to file your non-UCC. You don't need to go to the county. We got to talking about this the other day after I sent mine in. I was able to get mine recorded at the county. But then one of the guys down in Texas, they ended up balking at him. And even the county attorney wouldn't support him on getting it recorded, because the county recorder knew what the shit was going on, and he wasn't going to allow it to be done because he's a corporate employee. So there's a way around it. You are an international organization. You are a principality. You're supposed to be a prince on the land and a prince on the sea. That makes you two, and that makes you a principality. You are a government unto yourself. You turn around and you do the UCC and you mail it back to yourself by registered mail, that 13-digit number. So you put that on the UCC, you put a global stamp on it, and you post it with your 13-digit post office number, like in my case, IA 52591-8236 US. And then I date that stamp and sign it. Now I run copies of that after I have put my stamp on it. I've got the registered mail number on it. Then I fold it up and put it into an envelope and register mail it back to myself. I don't open that letter. That letter stays sealed, but it's recorded now. It's posted, recorded, and delivered. Okay? The other copies that I have, now I can take and certify them myself because I'm the holder of the original non-UCC document that I have. So I sign it, and I'm signing it as a private attorney general and date it. Now let them chew on that. That they have no standing to basically counteract that. You've got the original. And then you send that in. Basically, you get your affidavit done and put those in. But I would strongly recommend that you come in and have your document for being a prince on the land and a prince on the sea by your birth certificate, real birth certificate, your hospital birth certificate, or a Bible entry stating your birthing, and your admiralty one with your baptismal record. being baptized does not make you a Christian, T-I-A-N. So, if you're a Muslim or if you're a Jew or anything like that, that don't make you a Roman Catholic or a Lutheran or whatever. You're still a Jew. You can be whatever you want to be. I don't give a shit. But you need to be Christian, T-E-N, so that you are a prince on the water. So that you, and basically the planet or the what we're ever on here, if we're under a dome or whatever, or if we're a globe, I don't care. Some of these people are out here. The place is too damn big to worry about it. But basically, the whole area is 3/4 water. So you're shortchanging yourself if you only want to be a man on the land. You're only operating with 1/3 your capacity. You need to get the other 2/3 in the process. Now, basically, for almost all the numbers, I either added IA in front of the state numbers, like the driver's license number, like the certificate of title to my vehicle or salvage title to my vehicle, 9-digit number, I put an IA in front of it. With all my United States Social Security number, my EIN numbers, my Medicare number, basically I put a U.S. behind it. To get the 11 digits. Remember, 11 is one less than man. That's where the devil is operating, is in one less than man. This numbering system has been out here for eons in the process. Whether they use this exact numbering system or whether they used a modified system way back when with just all letters, I don't know. I just know that basically this is how they're operating today. And right now, our international exemption, international organization immunity or exemption number would be basically the one that we got out of Philadelphia. So it'd be PA with that 98 and then U.S. because that's where the de jure treasury was in this country from the get-go. The all-seeing eye, the pyramid at the top of the pinnacle, 3 sides. Okay? 3 13s. Now you've built the top of the pyramid. And you've encapsulated your understanding of the system. Then you send that into the U.S. trustee, and basically you order them to terminate based upon the Expatriation Act, based upon the 14th Amendment, based upon the Baby Act, based upon the Miller Act, based upon Title 46, Title 22 U.S.C. 288A, based upon Public Law 79-291, based upon 15 U.S.C. Section 1 and 2. How many more cases do you want me to list? I could go down the list with a bunch more. But I think that will cover everything. But you needed to have the 13s, see where they are. That's the thing. People don't ask the right questions. See what's missing, and then try and find the missing link. One guy out there has a couple of YouTubes, basically telling people how to send certified mail and everything without paying for it. Well, that's because there's two different post offices. You got the United States Post Office, and then you've got the United States Postal Service out there. But he didn't tell you how he basically got it. He said he showed you that he went in and got it paid because he was demanding to have it processed through the United States Post Office. But what gives him that authority to operate there? He basically was trying to not use any zip code. But I think if you come in with a 13-digit zip code, you've got your exemption number right there. Because that would be your exemption post office number, 13 digits. And I would worry about this other process first before you try and go and play around with the mail system. And basically, do not do any bonds. You do bonds or any of this other garbage that's out here on the internet, and basically you're probably going to get yourself in trouble. You get your UCC done, now you have your claiming document. You hold that up in court and say, here's my claim. I want to see all of your claims. And I believe my claim for 15, 5, 10, 15, 20 billion dollars is basically a hell of a lot more than your little claim. So and mine is superior because I am the owner. You're only a beneficial owner. Therefore, I just trumped you, and I've got to be paid first. And I don't think there's going to be anything left over to pay you out of the damn thing. So you're out. You're totally out of the picture. And if you do anything, basically I will bring fraud charges against you because you're trying to operate for a profit out here. And in that case, you're operating with, you're not disclosing your interest in the process. Read those definitions that I have up there. I've told you before, the definitions are where you need to understand what the word, the Bible said that thousands of years ago. Understand the word. You've got to find where the words are also. And if they're missing out of our American law dictionaries, why are they missing? They're missing for a damn good reason. So the Rod Class won't go over into his court action and ask for full disclosure on the thing because he doesn't know anything about it. He doesn't know that there's UCCs out there. He doesn't know that his signature gave a bailment to the bailee and the damn judge is getting a kickback into his IPERS account or his PERS account. Everybody in the courthouse is getting an employee's kickback into their retirement. From the county commissioners to the treasurer to the auditor to the recorder to the clerk of the court, to the county attorney, they're all getting kickbacks. And they're going to try and deprive you in the process unless you come out and call them on the carpet on it. The bankers set this public employees retirement shit up to basically bribe the people in those offices. Those offices were only supposed to be there not for retirement, but for working pay right now. But the bankers have screwed the people over by changing the monetary system in this country from being paid in silver to being paid in Federal Reserve dollars. $2 in pay back in '69 was $2 in Federal Reserve dollars. $2 in pay today is hell. It's 1/17 of a dollar, or 2/17 of a dollar. I think that's going into slave wages in that capacity, what the bankers have done to the people in this country. And the people don't stand up to them and say, why is this going on like this? They don't go into the county meetings when they're voting for property taxes for the county. Hell, everybody that has property in that county basically ought to be in there at that damn meeting. Why are you increasing my taxes? Why am I paying school taxes that basically is going over here to a school system that there's more damn administrators than there are teachers? What is the deal with all these administrators out here doing this and that? You walk in their office and half of them, most of the time, are sitting around playing games on their damn computer. Because they don't have enough work to do. But they've got all these people bought off under a damn system and then trying to tell you you're the bad guy by not paying your taxes when you owe no taxes to begin with. The corporations owe you the tax money. That is the tax evasion that's going on here. That was the second part or page of that secret non-disclosure. Tax evasion. Well, who's the one that's evading the taxes? The corporations are. Because they're hiding all of the stuff that we pay in, okay, the profits from our items, they're putting them into retirement accounts, claiming that they're a charity. So they don't have to pay any taxes. They don't have to fill out tax forms and give us the 1099s. But they're the ones that owe us the taxes, all because we're the owners of those accounts. That's a felony, punishable by a fine of not more than $10,000 and up to 5 years imprisonment, or both. When you go to the U.S. trustee, you're going to the U.S. attorney, you're going to the Secret Service. The U.S. Marshals will be the ones going out to collect all these accounts, UCCs, whatever. And then also you get the IRS involved and all of them based upon identity theft of using your identity to create a child debtor. And then on top of that, they are the ones that are not paying the taxes, the corporations. They are not a charity. They're operating for profit. Even these damn courts and these bar attorneys, they're all operating for profit. But the profits are being hidden in their damn retirement accounts. Now you should have an understanding of the system that we're operating in out here and be able to go forward and start breaking down the barriers. The damn shame that basically there ain't more people on this damn system listening to what the hell I have to say. I know I don't have this stuff written down in a real good format, a book, so that basically you can lay it all out and everything, but basically you've got to do a little fucking work yourself. I find the big pieces for you. This is supposed to be like a study hall group back in high school. But I don't know what more to say. Now it's up to you guys. Start speaking. Star 6 if you want to speak.
Hey, Patrick, what was the olive leaves again? The 13 olive branches.
That is your post office, your zip code, your IA or CA, your 9 digits, and then US. Your 13 is your post.
Okay.
Now, think about it. The leaves. That's something growing. That's permanent. That's fixed. The registered mail label, that's going through the air.
Yeah, that's
you
the
shoot
arrows.
the arrows.
Right.
And then the 13 stars, that is going to be where all of your assets, where your treasury's at.
Yeah, or your foreign granted trust, treasury.
Right. PA plus your 9 digits, and then US.
I wanted to say something about that. Pay us.
The what?
Pay us.
Pay us?
Yeah, P-A, pay, and then U-S at the end, us.
Okay.
I just thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, that would work. But yeah, there was something funny about why that foreign grantor trust EIN, and you had to call them up on the phone. Now, I didn't, but basically I filed mine with the way they had on the IRS tax form with the Schedule B form, and I used the 3520 and the 3520A form, and basically then the IRS went and got the EIN for me out in Ogden, and basically they went to Philadelphia and got it for me. They're not all bad people, but basically there are people in the IRS that are trying to get kickbacks for the corporations, keeping you off guard. The ones out of Atlanta and basically some of the other IRS departments out there, they're working for the corporation IRS. They're not working for the de jure IRS of the country. Internal Revenue, collection, tariff collection agency. So when we come in and basically go into the U.S. trustee, who is supposed to be the intermediary between the corporation, United States Corporation, and the living entities, okay, the United States Corporation is hell on earth, or hell in America. The U.S. trustee is the boatman going between the living world and hell, Hades. Just like in the first Percy Jackson movie, Lightning Thief. And you have to pay the boatsman. Basically, there'll be about 10% in the process they will take out after they've converted it into silver. So you might have $5, $10, $15 billion in your accounts. Divide that by 17 to convert it into silver. Then basically the your government will take out their 10% processing fees. You're not being harmed in any way whatsoever. You're still going to get hundreds of millions of dollars or more out of a deal. In silver, nonetheless. And you'll be bringing down the national debt at the same time. A lot of people out there on the YouTube basically talk about doing things with the birth certificate and this and that. Well, we tried that before, and we never got really any total continuous resolve out of anything that we ever did, the acceptance for values or anything like that. Basically, I think because they want us to come out of the system. But we were missing a couple items. We kept trying to use 9-digit numbers when we should have been using 11-digit numbers or our 13-digit numbers as superior processing and standing as an exempt and immune and privileged international organization in the process. We, the people, are the government of this country. All these public servants out here are just servants. They're not the government. Read the parables that Jesus talked about the servants in there, in the Bible. The master always had authority over the servants. Stop letting them try and operate in a duocracy to where the servants are ruling the masters. It's not a democracy that this country is operating under right now. It's a duocracy where the servants are trying to control and oversee the masters under fraud, banking frauds, because the people do not know how to put their claims in. That's what's been missing in all these court actions. You've got to come in with your UCC, superior claim, and bigger claim than what they come into. All mortgages, basically I've said this before, all mortgages are prepaid. The bank turns around and takes your credits, and then they turn around and put that into a debtor's account under a UCC So they've got a claim right there. You've got to come in with your superior claim over that property and make it about 3 times what you paid for the house. Therefore, it's not going to be any advantage to them to sell the house on you because you've got to be paid first. So there ain't going to be any money left over when it gets around to paying them. See the game? You win. And then basically coming in under the disclosure. These people that claim to be judges, basically they ain't judges. The true county courts are basically 3 of the commissioners, a tribunal, an ecclesiastical court. These other guys that are running around in the black robes and everything, they're just banking adjusters or insurance banking adjusters, working for the corporations and their own profits. And basically, they're trying to claim a lawful constitutional office in this country, and basically that is against the law. No bar attorney is supposed to be holding any government office in this country. The Bar Association is a foreign-controlled organization. It's really a communist organization. They hate America. They hate private property ownership. But they ain't going to tell you that. But that's their motto. That's their MO. Even if you go out and hire an attorney, basically that attorney is going to get a kickback from the bailee to not try and give you or ask for full disclosure in the process. That attorney that you have working for you, the first thing he should be doing is asking for full disclosure. He don't. So is he working for you, or is he working for his own kickback? Got a damn deer out in my yard trying to eat my apple trees. Anybody got any comments, questions?
Yes, Patrick. My certificate of live birth in Ohio has a 4-digit year, a 6-digit serial number, and if I put the 134 at the front, the state code, that makes it 13. Would that work?
No, your birth certificate should be only 2.
No, it's 4 in Ohio. It's been that way for years. Also, my marriage certificate only has 6-digit numbers. It looks like a book and page number.
Well, basically, you just find out what the hell. They should just put it down and basically go with it the way it is, okay?
Okay. I'll call the marriage people and see if there's a number they didn't put.
No, you don't need to worry about it. Just put it down the way it is, okay?
Okay.
See, you're too old and apart that basically the system didn't come in until 1948.
Right.
Or the 11-digit numbering system. Okay?
Right. Got it.
See, that's some of the stuff. Basically, they had to basically groom it. Pennsylvania, basically, I think they operate on a 7-digit registration number over there in their system. But that's their system, so basically you just put down what the hell they have and let it go at that, okay?
Makes sense, right.
I'm just trying to go with what the modern stuff that they've started utilizing with the 9-digit numbers and everything. Okay,
Yeah,
since roughly the 60s, after the birth certificate, in 48, and then basically the numbering system that they brought in and the Social Security, when they weren't even supposed to be touching the farmers and everything out here, that they brought that in under the National Farm Organization, getting the farmers to want everything the damn city people had, and basically they both got screwed out of the deal. But that's another story. Yeah, I want this, I want that. Yeah. Better know what the hell you're going to get before you start wanting it.
They'd be found in want. There's something that's remarkable about what Patrick said, and that's the dualism. And I just kind of want to expand on that a little bit more. And we're talking about the literal intent of the Constitution, and we're talking about the spirit, soul of the Constitution. You follow what I'm saying? And it appears that Congress and the courts and the martial jurisdiction has authority to translate that, or basically interpret that any way they see fit, as opposed to the literal meaning of it.
Yeah, and that's just like in any court case. They're sitting there interpreting the law, these attorneys and these judges and everything else. They're interpreting the law for their own benefit. And if you don't know how to defend that by demanding that they show you the law that says, I can't do this, I can't do that, where is it in the real law that says I can't do that? Where is it in the law that I really have to have a driver's license? Where is it in the law that I need to have my car registered? Show me that. Well, they'll come up and say, well, it's right here in the statute. I said, basically, the statutes only apply to corporations. They don't apply to the living person. Show me the law that says that a living person has to do this. See, that's where you need to stand. You need to know what is living and what is dead.
Another duality.
Yeah.
And the more that comes into focus for ones out there, the better they'll be able to discern.
The higher you get in the understanding out here, the higher you are going to get in your chakra of understanding out here. But most people are down around the knees in their chakra level. They haven't brought it up into even their heart in the process. You've got to get it at least up to your heart to where you are going to put your effort into it. That's your love chakra.
Correct.
You're not doing it just to cover your ass. You're doing it out of love for trying to support your master, your your whole body, not just you're covering your ass.
All three aspects, mind, body, and spirit.
Yep. Okay, anybody got any questions on this stuff? On the definitions. On
Hello,
the
Patrick?
usage of the UCCs.
Hello, Patrick.
Yes.
Hi, this is Elitra, and I apologize. I did kind of get in a little late on the call, but I understand that there's been some new information that's come about, and in terms of filing the UCC, but being a non-UCC filing. And I just wanted to ask, in terms of that, are you saying that you guys are now using the registrar number off of the certificate of live birth?
No.
No.
We are using a registered mailing label number.
Okay. All right. Yep. I do understand that. I have those at home. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That is a 13-digit number.
It is. Okay. All right. And that's what we should be using in order to be on the de jure side. I do understand that. So thank you. All right. I appreciate you.
Yeah, and then see, you turn around and you fill that out. You put the registered mail number on there, and I put in front of official, I would put non-UCC official filing, okay? On where I have that, if you see the document, that PDF that I put up there, and then basically you don't put that certified mail number information up there until you run the copy. Then on the copies, you put that information on there, okay? From the original.
Wait, when you say you mean certified or registered? Because I heard you say certified, but I just want to make sure I'm getting it correct.
I would register it, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, certified is 20 numbers.
Okay.
You want a 13-digit number.
Thanks.
Okay. Now you get your 3 13s, and basically now you're set to go. You build your pyramid on top of the pedestal, and then you can see clearly. You've got your eye of Horus or whatever, looking out at the world. Yes, you need to get, to protect your property, to protect anything you have, that you need to get a UCC filed against that. I even need to file a UCC against that new car that I bought so that I can turn around and file the claim back against the payment for that vehicle. Because it is prepaid. The corporation owes me that damn payment. Because they used our assets all along. This is supposed to be the land of milk and honey. This is supposed to be heaven on earth. Just because our great thousand great grandparents, Adam and Eve, screwed over little Cain and ate all of his labor up and got thrown out of the Garden of Eden. We can get back into the Garden of Eden when we get rid of all these damn bankers and claim our children back. Then we will go back into heaven or the Garden of Eden. We've got to get our children out of the damn state orphanages. Little orphan Annie. Basically, when she got out of the orphanage, where'd she go? Daddy Warbucks. Well, you're going to become a Daddy Warbuck when you get your children out of the orphanage. Anybody else have any questions, comments?
Patrick, have you ever looked at U.S. Customs? it's one of the first agencies that's been established. It was established in 1789.
Yep.
And when you think about the securities that are going back and forth from the private to the public, from, the Iowa Republic to the United States and back and forth between these government agencies, we could just about guarantee if they're not filing their 1099s, they're probably not, informing of the imports of these tariffs. And it's one of those things that nobody's probably ever really even looked at. But in Philadelphia,
this goes back to 1913, okay, October 13th, 1913. They passed the Tariff Tax Act, okay, and basically that Tariff Tax Act was the one that had income tax in it. The income tax was the usage of the Federal Reserve foreign monetary system by the corporations. That's who the income tax was really applicable to. It wasn't, the income tax was not to be against the people. It was to be against the corporations for using the monetary system of the Federal Reserve banking system. And that's under the Customs Department. Tariff taxes.
okay.
So yes, the Customs Department has been involved in a lot of this stuff all along. But their hands are tied until we stand up as the government officials and lodge our complaints against them.
Okay.
We are the government, not the government that we think is out there. It says in all the constitutions out here, we the people. That doesn't say that the damn governor is really the whole government. We the people are the government. We stand over that damn shithead governor. How in the hell do you think that I get away with all the damn documents that I send out chewing these guys' ass out? I posted half the damn things, and basically some people out there, if they were to do that, they'd be in jail for paper terrorism. How come I'm not? Because I've done something out here, but I've already stymied these people. And I beg them to take me to court. They don't want me in court.
Yeah, they don't want you on the court of record anyway.
Yeah. Because I've showed them just enough that basically they're sort of scared he might know more shit. If he's asking to go to court, he might know more shit than what he's letting on to us here. Because he's speaking with authority, so basically what else does he know? That's the way you've got to be. But if you walk in there cowing down to them, basically they're going to walk all over you. Because you don't know what game you're playing. Okay, anybody else? Okay, Tom, call tonight.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you.
Okay.
How soon are you going to be able to get this recording up on the line, Tom?
As soon as we hang here.
You can call the replay number as well.